Today, Roc Nation Sports President Michael Yormack is determined to change the narrative in South African sport. He recently hosted the SA Sports Industry Awards of 2021 and reiterated that the stars of South African sports must get a seat at the table. Just under a year since the talent agency has launched in South Africa. Well, in a year where the FIFA World Cup, Commonwealth Games and the eve of France 2023 Rugby World Cup, we get a sense of where things are at with the talent agency. Of course, that being Roc Nations. And the Roc Nation Sports President, Michael Yormack, joins me now in studio. A very good afternoon. Love how you're dressed. The suit is looking awesome. Thanks for taking the time to speak to your South African sports fans.
Thank you so much, Arthur. And so nice to be here. And let me first say that it's nice to be home. You know, South Africa has really become a home away from home for me. I haven't been here since September, so this is my first trip in the new year, the first of many, but just an honor to be here with you, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Let's get straight into the matter of things. I mean, you're all about maximizing earning potential for sportsmen and sportswomen in South Africa, but how is all of this going to be achieved?
Well, you know, listen, earning potential is very important, but what's even more important is giving them that voice, giving them the platform to motivate and to inspire the next generation of youth. You know, I've gone on record as talking about they need a seat at the table. Professional athletes here in South Africa need a seat at the table. They need to have their voices heard, and they have to be given the opportunity to make an impact. If they're able to do that, then maximizing their earning potential is a domino effect. But really what comes first is that voice, is that platform, and the ability to inspire and motivate.
How does Roc Nations, or why is Roc Nations going to be the difference in this case?
We care. You know, Roc Nation is not driven by profits and commissions and money. We're driven to help people. When you think about our company, Roc Nation, globally, whether it's representing artists or athletes, it's about helping them achieve all of their life goals and objectives. That's what we're doing for the athletes here in South Africa. We sit down with them. We talk about what their aspirations are. What are their goals? What are their objectives? On field, on pitch, off field, off pitch. And then we go to work.
Why in particular South Africa, Mr. Yormack?
They've been underserved. Agencies here in South Africa have not been able to manage the careers of athletes properly.
Wow.
They've been underserved. And so we needed to come in. We need to change the game. We needed to do things differently. And quite frankly, if we do things differently, it may force other agencies who are representing other athletes to do things differently.
Wow. Have you thought of working with the Sports Ministry of South Africa if you're so passionate about changing the narrative in Mzansi?
We are. We're working with government. We're talking to government about big projects, about big opportunities to help change the game, but also to give athletes in South Africa an opportunity to excel in sport. Listen, I don't want to go back to the last Olympics, but you saw what happened.
Yeah.
You know, South African athletes did not excel the way they should have. So there needs to be more investment. There needs to be more resources. And those are some of the things that we're talking to government about.
Michael, you have a growing network of great prominent South African sports stars within, of course, your talent agency at Roc Nations, the most prominent being, of course, Springbok captain, world champion, Siya Kolisi. But are we going to see Roc Nations perhaps give attention and invest in unpopular sports within South Africa? The big three, of course, in South Africa is football, cricket and rugby. I'm still yet to hear Roc Nation say that we'd like to give Themba Bavuma a chance, Bafana Captain Ronwen Williams a chance to be a part of this stable and hopefully see the changes that South African sports needs.
Listen, anyone that wants to be part of the Roc Nation family and really wants to make a difference and make an impact and help change the game, I'd love to have that conversation. We've not closed the doors to anyone. And not only do we want to work with established athletes, we want to work with emerging athletes as well and help them along their journey. And you'll hear some announcements over the next 3 to 4 weeks on some new signings, some new athletes from South Africa that are joining the Roc Nation family that are not established stars, but are young and emerging stars and athletes that we really want to help.
How much of that work goes into development?
A lot of it. You know, listen, developing a young athlete on the field and off the field is not easy, but you have to sign the right player. What's really important to us, though, are signing athletes that not only want to excel on the field, but want to give back to community, that understand that using their voice and using their platform can change lives. And changing lives has to be a goal of an athlete, whether they excel on the field or not. Changing lives is really the most important.
How do they use their voice, and what gave Roc Nations the impression that the South African sports stars have lost their voice?
Because we haven't heard about them. I mean, listen, before Roc Nation came to South Africa, right, how many great stories, sports stories, were coming out of South Africa as it relates to their athletes? So we're now beginning to tell those stories. Sia Khaleesi was the first, then Cheslin Colby, and then we've had so many since. But we want to amplify their story, not only here in South Africa, but around the world. Because if we do that, and we do it effectively, we can change lives, we can impact lives, we can motivate, we can inspire the next generation of great athletes.
Fantastic. In closing, my producers have told me we don't have enough time left. Where do you see Roc Nations making an impact in the next 5 to 10 years within South Africa, Mr. Yormack?
We want to continue to grow and grow scale. We want to continue to impact lives. We want to continue to sign athletes. We want to continue to work with great organizations like the Sundowns and the Sharks. And if we're able to change lives and inspire and motivate, then we've made an impact.